Welcome to PGS Reviews. I'm Rrr Mmmm from Positive Fandom. PGS Reviews is a show that features you, members of the Post-Geek Singularity. This show was created so PGS members could share interests that stir the imagination. I'd like to welcome the Cinemike to the show. Welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. I am very excited to discuss this two music categories. It's going to be a fun discussion.
That's right. We're going to be continuing our Oscar preview shows for 2022 by talking about the Best Original Song and Best Original Score nominees. So, of course, we have some amazing choices this year. And let's start with the first nominee. It's for original score. For original score. So, the first nominee is for the film Don't Look Up, their original score for that film. And the composer is Nicholas Britell. What I was going to say is this is not really, it's not I guess it has a kind of an independent film feel, but I felt like this score was somewhat sensational because, of course, it was somewhat of a parody in a sense, and they had to kind of reflect that in a lot of the film, with a lot of sort of stop and starts, just for dramatic effect. But I think that overall this was actually a pretty good score for what it was intended for. And I'm not surprised it was nominated, but I also think that there could have been other films that could have been nominated in its place. What did you think of Don't Look Up, the best original score by Nicholas Britell?
Don't Look Up. First of all, Nicholas Britell is becoming one of my favorite composers nowadays. He also, this is his third nomination. He previously got nominated for Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, and I love the score for If Beale Street Could Talk. Like that is a very, you know, and I'm not that very versed in terms of music, so apologies on the terms that I will use, but it's very romantic and melodic, and I just love his score for that film. And I also love his score for Succession, which is very operatic. And sometimes I just listen to his to the main theme of Succession. Like sometimes I just listen to it randomly. Like Nicholas Britell is creating this great music. Then he also did the score for Vice, and another 2021 film that he also did the score for is Cruella. But this score on Don't Look Up, I would describe it as it's like jazzy but chaotic. Like sometimes there's this chill music, but then it suddenly plays a lot of instruments, and and it perfectly suits with the tone of the film. I thought the score, because it's about climate change, and people trying to deal with the end of the world disaster. Everything's been chaotic, but at the same time people are calm about it, so I think the score reflects that. And and Nicholas Britell, as I said, he's really becoming one of my favorite composers, and I think he's a genius. Simply even with just Succession, and it's a well-deserving nomination. I don't think he will win for this. If like a few years ago, like it would like when he was nominated for If Bill Street Could Talk, that could have been a great win for him actually. But Black Panther won that year, which also deserving wins, because Black Panther also has an iconic score. And but yeah, I don't really have any complaints about this score for Don't Look Up. And prior to this, I listened to the scores in all of these, and I there's really something special about the score that really suits the chaotic nature. And you know and Nicholas Britell and Adam McKay, this is also, they have worked a few times before. So I just love Nicholas Britell. I'm a huge fan of his works, and I am happy with this nomination for Don't Look Up.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is a very special score, and we were certainly lucky. I think it did make a difference in the film, uh, getting its point across. So it certainly is worth mentioning. The next nominee for Best Original Score is Hans Zimmer for Dune 2021. And of course, Hans Zimmer is a composer who truly doesn't need much of an introduction. He's done so many scores. My favorite score for a film that he's done is for Gladiator. But he certainly has outdone himself time and time again. And I do recall the director mentioning that he had hoped that Hans Zimmer could do the score for Dune, but he'd known that Hans was fully booked and very, very busy, and could only hope or wish that Hans could make time, but had pretty much given up hope that Hans could do it. And when he approached Hans, Hans said, absolutely, I can absolutely do the score for the new Dune film. And it certainly is a very special, different type of score. It's a score for a science fiction novel that novel adaptation that has inspired so many other science fiction films and stories that we know. Um, in particular, Hans had mentioned trying to use specific voices and give it a different feel from a lot of other previous adaptations or scores. I know the previous score. I can't remember who did the previous score for the Dune version in the 80s, but this certainly has a very different feel to that, and almost sounds a bit tribal to me. What were your thoughts of the best, the original score for the 2021 movie Dune by Hans Zimmer?
So, as you said, Hans Zimmer is one of the composers who really needs no introduction. This is his 12th nomination, but he only won once before, and that is for The Lion King, which is, I mean, the music for The Lion King is great, but it's a bit jarring that that is still the only win that he has so far. And he has made so many epic and iconic scores throughout his career. As you said, Gladiator. Then he also did the score for the Christopher Nolan films like Inception, Interstellar, and or Dunkirk. And he also did the score for Man of Steel and the other DCEU films. And like he has done so many iconic scores, and I we all know him and we all love him, obviously. And the score for Dune is another masterpiece. I think it's a the score is a masterpiece. It's very like I think the best way to listen to the score of Dune, to anyone who is watching, and I highly recommend this, listen to the score of Dune in through Apple Music, because in Apple Music they use Dolby Atmos, and listen to it with your earphone or with your AirPods. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the best experience you'll ever have listening to the score of Dune, through Apple Music, and which is in Dolby Atmos. And and when I listen, that way on Apple Music, with my AirPods, and and with my Dolby Atmos on, like I just feel like I feel transported to the world of Arrakis and the entire universe. Very immersive. And with and I think Hans Zimmer said in interviews that he really like that was his goal, is that he wants the music for Dune to be like it's in a different planet, like you feel like you're in that world, you're in that or in that planet. And yeah, and as you said, um when they asked Hans Zimmer if he want to score Dune, of course they weren't sure, because Hans Zimmer is always booking busy. He probably has like 5 films already booked. And but luckily Hans Zimmer is a huge fan of the novel, So he really wanted to do the score for this, and he will also return for the sequel. And he up he accepted this job that he has to decline doing the score for Tenet, which could have been another collaboration with him and Christopher Nolan, but he has to decline doing work for Tenet because of Dune. And Tenet eventually that was scored by Ludwig Göransson. But yeah, I think, and I'm going to say it now, I think this will win this category, and this would also get my vote if I'm voting at the Academy. I think this is just a wonderful, epic score, and it's one of those elements as well in the film that made it a, the great film that it is.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think this is the one that's going to win the Cinemike, and I also think that I do recall, since you brought it up, that he did the music for Interstellar, and I loved that soundtrack. I thought that was incredibly a profound score. It was unbelievable, honestly, and he deserves the win here, as far as I'm concerned. So I guess we're going to see what happens for Hans Zimmer with his Dune score. The next nominee is Jermaine Franco for Encanto. And, as we've mentioned earlier in our reviews, Encanto is an animated feature that's also nominated in other categories. Um, the majority of the featured songs, I guess, or original songs, um, are amazing and really has such an incredible soundtrack. And for the score, I also thought the score was very good too. Um, I'm not quite sure whether it's, ideal for this category or whether it's going to win in this category. But what did you think of Encanto and Jermaine Franco's original score for this animated feature?
So yeah, Encanto. This is Jermaine Franco's first nomination, and I look on her previous work. The other notable work that she did before is for Coco. She was one of the composers in Coco. And with Encanto has a great music. As we've discussed, Lin Manuel Miranda's original songs that he composed for the film was great, and the soundtrack itself is number one in the charts. And the song, we don't talk about Bruno, and the score is great as well. It's very vibrant and joyful and all that stuff. Although I do say that I think the songs overshadowed the score. If you look back at Encanto, but I think they both complemented well. But yeah, but if you think about Encanto, I think you will think about the songs more, whether it's We Don't Talk About Bruno or uh, or Dos Oruguitas. And yeah, but it's still a great nomination. And I think and I think the reason why I ended up getting nominated is because I think it's also because of the popularity of the soundtrack. Like it just went along with the ride. Like when the music branch was voting, like, oh, okay, voting for Encanto for song, okay, I'll vote for it to get nominated for the score as well. I think it's like a package, which is why I think Encanto also get nominated for score. But it's still a well deserved nomination, and you know but I don't think it will win. I think the film has better chances in the song, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I it's still a great piece of score on for the film. And as I said, the music in Encanto itself is just very popular right now.
It certainly is, and I think that it has such a great impact over how other composers are going to approach animated features, perhaps going forward. I certainly do have to give them credit for making an incredible film that is nominated for Best Original Score, but is actually an animated feature, which is quite an achievement. Um, the next film that has been nominated for Best Original Score is Parallel Mothers. The score is by Alberto Iglesias. And of course, this film kind of has a very independent film vibe to me with the score. Um, and it could have been it's very dramatic because of the dramatic nature of the film, and sort of the discovery of what happens in the film. It's a very serious film. I thought they did a great job of getting that point across, and to dramatic effect, it certainly does do its job very nicely. What did you think of Parallel Mothers original score by Alberto Iglesias?
So yeah, Parallel Mothers, which is the Pedro Almodovar film starring Penelope Cruz, is nominated in Best Actress. So this from Alberto Iglesias. This is his fourth nomination. Some of his previous work are The Constant Gardener and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And I thought the score for Parallel Mothers was wonderful. It's one of the things besides Penelope Cruz performance that really stood out for me because it has the Hitchcockian vibe with the score. If it is a reminiscence of the scores from Hitchcock's films, at least for me, that's what the impression is for me when I watch the film, and it suits well with the film's dramatic tone. Like almost a soap opera ish style, and I think the scores stand out in a lot of dramatic moments, whether it's I'm not going to spoil what happened, but there's a particular moment when Penelope Cruz's character was reading this document that reveals something, and there's a score that accompanies it when she was reading that and reacting to it. So that was a great. So that is a great example of a score accompanying a crucial moment in the film that really really works, that suits well for that sequence. So yeah, I love that it got nominated for Best Original Score. It's an inspired nomination. I also don't. I'm not sure if it has a chance, but I think getting nominated enough is a win for this. And yeah, yeah, it's just a great nomination overall.
Yes, and the last movie to be nominated for Best Original Score is Power of the Dog's score by Johnny Greenwood. And of course, Power of the Dog has had so many nominations this year. And of course, this is one of them. This obviously is a Western, and, this score certainly reflects that Western vibe. What are your thoughts of Johnny Greenwood's Power of the Dog original score?
So yeah, Johnny Greenwood, who is, we all know him from Radiohead. This is his second nomination. His first one is for Phantom Thread, and I love his score for Phantom Thread. I think when I watched Phantom Thread for the first time, the the score really stood out for me. It's very memorable. I think it's iconic. I still, I would hum that score, or listen to it from time to time. And then his score for then he also did score for The Ruby Blood, Inherent Vice. He also did one track for Licorice Pizza. But another notable 2021 film that he also did score for is Spencer. And although while I like the score for the Power of the Dog, what Johnny Greenwood did, and it's Western, but at the same time it's not. Like, that's how I would describe it. Like, it has the classic Western tone, with the instruments that he used, whether it's violin or something. But it has the classic instruments that you would hear on a Western score, but it's also subversive, like it. So, which I think, and the Power of the Dog itself, it's a very subversive film in the Western genre, so it works. Although, if you ask me, I wish he got nominated instead for Spencer, because for me, I thought his score for Spencer stood out more than in the Power of the Dog. But you know Johnny Greenwood, he at least he got nominated this year for as I said, he worked on 3 films last year, with the Spencer and Power and Licorice Pizza. So any kind of nomination is a win for him, and it's a great reward for him. And as I've said, I while Johnny Greenwood hasn't done a lot of scores, but if he continues to be a active film composers besides being on Radiohead, I think he is on this great trajectory because I thought his score from Phantom Thread is just so beautiful. And you know if it continues, Spencer, The Power of the Dog, he will do more films. um I think Johnny Greenwood could also be in a conversation of one of the great composers today.
Definitely, and certainly to his credit, 3 of the films that he's done work on have been nominated in categories for the Oscars this year. So that certainly does say something for his abilities. Um, and so the next category for the Oscars 2022 that we're going to be talking about is for Best Original Song. And the first film that we have as a nominee is King Richard, which is the story of Venus and Serena Williams' father. And pretty much the film covers the entire family, but the film is called King Richard, and of course, Will Smith plays the lead role in that film. It's there's quite a few nominations for the film, including I think it's Best Actor and Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress nomination. And the song is that's been nominated is a song called "Be Alive." It's sung by Beyonce, and it certainly is an anthem and a tribute to the movie, which I think is absolutely perfect for what the movie is about and the message that the movie is trying to get across. It really is a stunning anthem of hope and inspiration, and just being proud of accomplishments and setting goals for oneself and family, almost like a celebration. What did you think of uh, Beyonce's rendition of "Be Alive" for Best Original Song?
So yeah, "Be Alive" from King Richard, music and lyrics by Dixon and Beyonce. This is Beyonce's first Oscar nomination, but of course she has a lot of Grammys. And Beyonce has been also doing a lot of songs for films. Like a few years ago, she did a song called "Spirit" for the Lion King live action remake, or or is it live action? It's hard to categorize, but yeah. But she did a song called "Spirit," and I would argue that she almost got nominated for that. For doing that song. And then she was also one of the composers for the song "Listen" for Dreamgirls. And while that song got nominated, and it actually garnered a controversy because the Academy did not recognize or credit Beyonce as part of that team who composed the song, and it had like a controversy during that time. Like there's a lot of fans that are upset that the Academy did not recognize Beyonce as part of that team. So she didn't got nominated for that song, even though technically she is part of the team who composed that song. And I mean, Beyonce is one of those artists that needs no introduction. And, specifically here for "Be Alive," it's a great song. As I said, it's about hope and inspiration. It's also about family. And, like just in the opening lyrics, it says, "It feels so good to be alive, got all my family by my side." So that two opening lines already speaks about the song and the film as well. And I've heard that the reason, and I could be wrong about this, but I heard that the reason why Beyonce ended up doing the song for the film is that she is friends with the Williams sisters, and the Williams sisters like asked her if she could make a song for the film. And Beyonce was like, yes. So here we go. And now she earned her first Oscar nomination, and I think we can assume that she will perform this at the Oscars at the ceremony. I mean, I think ABC and the Academy will work so hard to make sure that Beyonce will perform, because I don't know, ratings, it will garner huge ratings probably if if they advertise that Beyonce will perform at the Oscars. But yeah, I it's a great song. It's well deserved nomination, and it played also over at the ending credits, which and while they were showing those archive footage of Serena and Venus all over the years, in and while the credits are rolling, and it suits well. And as I said, it suits well with the theme of the film, with what the film is all about, and that's always what an original song for a film is. Like, it should be suitable for that film, that it should not just be a great song for itself, but it suits well for the film that it is serving. And I think Be Alive is a great song for King Richard, so I have no complaint about this nomination.
Yeah, and you're right about the lyrics, the first two lyrics, and I think then they start to talk about having pride, and it really is a wonderful anthem to uh, a story that is phenomenal, and certainly hits the mark there. If they have any common sense whatsoever, they will definitely get Beyonce to perform this song
Yeah,
at the
I think
Oscars.
I think they will make sure that it will happen because they need those ratings.
They need it desperately. I think that it could bring the Oscars back, if she showed up. I think a lot of people would actually tune in to watch her perform, and it is certainly needed, I think, to get the Oscars kind of rolling back in the right direction. Um, so the second song that's nominated for Best Original Song is from the movie Encanto, which is quite another feat for this film. Um, excuse me, it's the film that excuse me, the song that is nominated for is a song called Orguitos. I don't know if I'm saying,
Oruguitas, yeah.
yeah, Orguitas by Sebastian Yatras. And I have to be honest with you, the Cinemike, there isn't a song that's bad in this soundtrack at all. And so when it comes to Encanto, they probably could have picked any song on there. And you and I have discussed this before. The song that seems to have been standing out by a lot of fans is the song called We Don't Talk About Bruno. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's been such a popular song. It's on Billboard 100 charts, number one. But this is another song, and you did mention already that they decided to submit this song when it came to this particular awards. But even though We Don't Speak About Bruno was not in this category, this song is also a beautiful, inspiring song. There are so many beautiful tracks on Encanto. It's hard to choose one. What did you think about this song by Sebastian Yatras?
So yes, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, which is music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And this is Lin-Manuel Miranda's second nomination. And he previously got nominated for the song from Moana, How Far I'll Go, which is also another great Disney song. And if Lin-Manuel Miranda wins this, he will be the next person who will win the most coveted award in the entertainment industry, which is the EGOT,
Mhm.
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, because he already has a lot of Tonys for Hamilton and In the Heights, and he won an Emmy for composing a song for the Tony Awards. Then yes, obviously a Grammy for Hamilton and such. So if he wins this, he'll Lin Manuel Miranda will be the next person to be part of the EGOT Hall of Fame. And those Oruguitas, while it's not yes, it's not we don't talk about Bruno. I know we don't talk about Bruno. It's like the most popular song from the soundtrack. And as we mentioned in the previous episode, when Disney was submitting what song they are like prioritizing for this category, they submitted Dos Oruguitas, but as it turns out, it's We Don't Talk About Bruno that became the huge hit among the several songs for the soundtrack. And unexpectedly, I'm pretty sure Disney or even Lin-Manuel Miranda did not expect that We Don't Talk About Bruno will be the biggest hit there. And We Don't Talk About Bruno is a very catchy song. But Dos Oruguitas itself is also a beautiful song. It is in all Spanish. It played in a very emotional moment in the film. I think it was in the moment when those flashbacks happened, and it's a well deserved nomination. Like, even though it's not We Don't Talk About Bruno, but Dos Oruguitas is an equally great song itself. And as I said, it's emotional. It's like a dramatic ballad song, and yeah, I really have no complaint about Dos Oruguitas getting this nomination. And because I do think that it is a great song as well. I guess we can say that it's the second most popular in the soundtrack. I think we can safely say that. And I'm looking forward to how they will perform this at the Oscars. And yeah, and what is the name of the artist again? Sebastian.
Sebastian Yatras.
Yes, him. Yeah, I think he will be the one. I think we can assume that he will be the one who will perform the song as well at the Oscars. So I'm looking forward to see the live performance as well. Besides this, and I think this is one. I think this also has a chance to win because of the popularity of the Encanto soundtrack.
Absolutely. It certainly is taking the world by storm. And I think that there's going to be several more hits from the soundtrack as the year goes on because it's so phenomenal. So definitely a well-deserved nomination there. Um, the next song to be nominated for Best Original Song is Down to Joy by Van Morrison from the movie Belfast. And I'm a huge Van Morrison fan. So as soon as I heard the song, it has a Van Morrison sound. And I think it captures a lot of, the passion of the story, and a celebration of this young boy's life up to this point where things go quite dramatically wrong for him. But I think if anything, it does celebrate the emotional experience of it, and certainly has a Van Morrison feel to it. Um, what did you think of Down to Joy by Van Morrison?
So yeah, it's from Van Morrison. I believe this is his first Oscar nomination. I obviously since, but and Van Morrison. I think it is fitting that he's the one who did the original songs for Belfast because he is a pride from that country. He's one of their national treasures, I guess, and it's a great song as well. I think if I'm not mistaken, it played over the ending credits as well. I can't remember, and but yeah, it's a great song. You can listen to it on YouTube. When I was prior to this, I was searching for it. Like, is it on? Because the song it's not on Spotify or Apple Music or any music platform. To those who might be wondering, like, where can you listen to Down to Joy? You cannot listen to it, unfortunately, on Spotify or Apple Music or any music platform. You can only listen to it on YouTube. It's there, so you have to only listen to it on YouTube. Or I guess if you have the physical soundtrack, I don't know if it's available, but you can listen to that as well. But yeah, it's a great song. It is as I said, an original song for a film should suit with the theme of the film or the tone. And I think with the vibe of the song suits very well with the theme of Belfast, especially how it ended, which had like a hopeful ending. and it also feels like a reminiscence as well of those times. So yeah, it's a great song. And while I did not like prior to this, I actually did not predict Down to Joy to get nominated for Belfast, because the only reason I didn't predict it to get nominated prior is because it's not available on any music platforms. You have to go to YouTube to really find it. And also, the other reason, and I won't explain this further, but Van Morrison is a bit controversial right now because of some of his views. So I thought he wouldn't get nominated here, but I guess the Academy loves Belfast, so they'll nominate in many categories, like this. So yeah, it's but it's a great song, so I also have no complaint with it getting nominated here.
Yeah, it certainly has been nominated in a few categories, so we'll see how it does in this particular one. And the next song to be nominated is the theme song to the recent James Bond film, No Time to Die. The song is No Time to Die, and uh, the song is by Billie Eilish. Um, I thought that this was a very interesting song. It almost sounds like a ballad. Um, and you know, many James Bond films have had songs nominated in the past. I'm not quite sure whether this one's going to win in this category, though. What did you think of the song "No Time to Die" by Billie Eilish?
So yeah, No Time to Die, music and lyrics by Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas O'Connell. And every time there's a new James Bond theme song, first every time there's a new James Bond film, one of the question is who will do the theme song, because that is a James Bond tradition. Like besides who will play the villain, who will be the Bond girls, like which locations, who is directing, what will be the title. One of the things that we all, as James Bond fans, always look forward to is who will do the theme song, because it is tradition that there's a theme song that plays over the opening credits. You know, like ever since the first film, it is it is a tradition that has been mostly unbroken. And James Bond theme songs are always iconic, like whether it's Nobody Does It Better, The Spy Who Loved Me, or Golden Eye, or Diamonds Are Forever, or Goldfinger, or also another from Shirley Bassey, Moonraker, or Live and Let Die from Paul McCartney. Like I could name, or Tomorrow Never Dies by Sheryl Crow. Even Madonna did For Die Another Day, even though yeah, okay, that would be another conversation. And James Bond theme song has always been underlooked in the Oscars. Like it gets nominated, I think nobody does it uh, better got nominated. I think For Your Eyes Only, which is also like one of my favorite James Bond theme songs, also got nominated. But a James Bond theme song never won until Skyfall, which is from Adele, and that is also a great song. And then the next one from Spectre, Writings on the Wall from Sam Smith. They also won. And then now we have No Time to Die from Billie Eilish. And when they announced that Billie Eilish will do the theme song, the next James Bond film, I was like, okay, that makes sense, because Billie Eilish is one of the popular artists right now. She is, she is a hot name right now in the music industry. So it makes sense. And the interesting about the song is that they released this February of 2020, which means we've been listening to this song for 2 years now at this point, because the film was supposed to be released like April 2020. Then of course the pandemic happened, got delayed, finally got released like October last year. And and by that time, No Time to Die has already won a Grammy actually last year. No Time to Die already has a Grammy award on its shelf because of the of all the delays and its early release. So out of all the songs, this one has the most stature because it already has a Grammy award. And I thought the song was I love the song. This is my favorite among this five. And I mean, I always love James Bond theme songs, and I'm a fan of Billie Eilish as well. Whether it's Bad Guy or her other songs, and this one, No Time to Die, is right up her alley, and she composed it with her brother. Just like almost any of her other songs, and I think it's a great song. While I know, like, I hear some people say it's really doesn't sound like a traditional Bond theme song because whenever you think of James Bond theme song, it's always energetic and it's like some of them are ballad, but there's always like like if you listen to like um like example GoldenEye, or you listen to Nobody Does It Better, like, or let's go with like Living Daylights by I think it's from Aha, if I'm not mistaken, or A View to a Kill. I think it's from Duran Duran, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the energies are not ballad. No Time to Die is a pure ballad song that is very dramatic, but I think it suits well for the film because No Time to Die, and spoiler alert, it's not really it's a bit of a somber Bond film, and of course James Bond die at the end. It's also a very emotional film for James Bond. It's an emotional journey for him throughout the film. So this type of song makes sense for from Billie Eilish, No Time to Die. And if I am at the Academy, this would get my vote because I really like this song a lot. I love this song, and I've listened to it hundreds of times at this point since, as I've said, it's been here for 2 years now, and it got its Oscar nomination like 2 years after its release, which is weird to think, but the pandemic, because of that, it happens. So yeah, and this also one of the nominations that I think was expected prior to the announcement. I think we were all expecting No Time to Die to get nominated because it's a James Bond theme song. It's from Billie Eilish, and it's also a hit song. I mean, hit song at least, but yeah, it's a great nomination, and I think it also has a chance to win here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent points that you made about it. Very unusual release dates for No Time to Die, and we certainly will see what happens. Billie Eilish is certainly an incredibly talented artist, and best of luck to her with this one. And the last song to be nominated for Best Original Song is "Somehow You Do" from Four Good Days. Um, and the singer is Reba McEntire. It is a country style song. What did you think of Somehow You Do from Four Good Days by Reba McEntire?
So yeah, so somehow you do music and lyrics by Diane Warren. And first of all, I haven't seen Four Good Days. For those who are not familiar, it's a drama film starring Glenn Close and Mila Kunis. It's a small film. I will not be surprised if some of you haven't heard this film. you know I think it's about, I think Mila Kunis has like a drug addiction problem, then Glenn Close is like her mother. That's like the plot, if I'm not mistaken. Like I've only heard it because like during the time of release last year, like Glenn Close and Mila Kunis are doing like interviews and press on talk shows, promoting this film. And but the name here, it's from Reba McEntire, but the nomination is for Diane Warren. And Diane Warren, I think we can say at this point that she is one of those songwriters that needs no introduction. But to those who might not be familiar with Diane Warren, she is the composer of some of the most popular songs out there. And this is her 13th nomination, but never won. She has never won I would say now I don't think this is her time yet to win, especially for a song like this. And like here are some of the iconic songs that she composed and also got nominated. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, Because You Love Me, which is from Celine Dion. How Do I Live? I think it's from Con Air. Then of course one of the greatest hits from Aerosmith, I Don't Wanna Miss a Thing, that is also composed by Diane Warren. Then she also got nominated several times for the past several years, whether it's a song for the RBG documentary or the song for the Marshall film starring Chadwick Boseman. She also did a song for the documentary The Hunting Ground, which she composed with Lady Gaga, called Till It Happens to You. Last year, she also got nominated for like an Italian song called Idiocy for the Italian film The Life Ahead, that stars Sophia Loren. So Diane Warren has been really actively composing songs for films for decades now at this point. I think her peak, for me, at least for me, her peak is in the 90s, because that was when she created, some of the greatest hits that we still love. As I said, she is the one behind How Do I Live? And, at least here, we sing How Do I Live in karaoke bars here. We love that song at the karaoke bars here. We also love I Don't Wanna Miss a Thing. We also sing that at karaoke bars here. I mean, who doesn't love that song? And, Diane Warren is behind that song. And but as I said, she never won. She is becoming like the Leonardo. I mean, at least before, like Leonardo DiCaprio before, but double that, or probably possibly triple. And but as I've said, listening to Somehow You Do, it's an inspiring, hopeful song, but it's not an Oscar worthy song. I would say it's not a song that I would give an Oscar for. Like, and now I sadly wish that she won for those, as I said, songs like How Do I Live or I Don't Wanna Miss a Thing, because they really stood out the test of time. And there's no argue about that. Like, I bet some of you listening here, you have those songs in your playlist. This is the song that doesn't really will not stood out the test of time. And I've also heard, like, one person said, who have seen the film, they said the the song they said that the song does not suit the film, because the film ended in like in like it had like a sad ending, and then it felt awkward that this played over the ending credits because it's a bit hopeful. So, although that's just the opinion of one person that I've read, but that is like one criticism that I've read, from someone who has seen the film. And I think I would also say that I think it only got nominated because of Diane Warren. I think, it's just my theory, which is why I think it got nominated, even though it's from like a small film. I think, they saw the name Music Lyrics by Diane Warren, and they obviously love Diane Warren since, as I said, it's her 13th nomination. It's just they don't love her enough to give her an Oscar yet. And I think that's the reason. I think she her name alone, but this is not. I have listened to this song 3 times prior to this. It's really not like, this is not her time yet. I think if Diane Warren, really wants to win an Oscar, I guess she has to compose a song for a Disney film or a James Bond film, or a bigger film, like a film that will get nominated for Best Picture, those types of film. But this is not her time to win an Oscar, even though this is her 13th nomination. I don't think it will be a 13 times a charm situation here. And it's not like on the level, as I said, of her greatest hits in the 90s. So yeah, I don't see her winning here. And I and I'll be honest, I will listen to the song. I don't see it as well as even a nomination worthy song. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on all those points. And, certainly she has an admirable amount of work that we've all enjoyed and still enjoy. So we shall see what happens with that nomination. And for me, my, in the final analysis of things, I think for best original score, it's going to be Dune. Dune is going to win it. Hans Zimmer is going to get the Oscar there. And for original song, I'd say honestly, it's a toss up between Beyonce and Billie Eilish. Both performances were kind of stellar and stand out compared to the other two. Not to discount Encanto, which has incredible music, but I have a feeling that they're leaning towards Billie Eilish or Beyonce. What are your picks for best original score and best original song?
So as I've already said in score, Dune will get my vote, and I will predict to win. I think this is one of the categories in the Oscars when we come Oscar night where I think it is pretty much as say a lock winner. I think it is almost a lock to win, if not 100% luck. And also, I also want to say that it is unfortunate that original score and seven other categories will not be presented live. Well, they will still be presented, but they will not be live in the same. And I am 100% against that decision because I think there's like a hierarchy there that was happening. Like they specifically chose these seven categories to not be presented live. So I have a big problem. And it is unfortunate that original score is one of them because it is very important. And like I don't wanna like I wanna see Hans Zimmer do a speech live. I wanna see him do a speech live. Imagine watching the Oscars and you don't see John Williams do a speech live, or I don't know, like, or Howard Shore, or but yeah. So let me say, yeah, that I just it is just unfortunate that this and other seven categories are not it will not be presented live, that they will be presented before the main ceremony while everyone is doing red carpet. They are presenting this. So yeah, I just don't like the decision, and I it would really be great to see Hans Zimmer do his speech live, especially that it will be his second win in his career. For best original song, this is where I am struggling, to be honest. This is a great lineup. Um, there are two huge superstars in this category, and this is why I'm very confident that they will have these songs performed in the ceremony, because they will use Beyonce and Billie Eilish as the headline when they're doing their advertisements and promos. I will say that there are two nominees that I see is very likely to win. First is Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, because of the popularity of the soundtrack itself. Even though it's not We Don't Talk About Bruno, I think voters will be like, I love We Don't Talk About Bruno, but I will still vote for this song. Like it's like voting for Dos Oruguitas is it's like voting for We Don't Talk About Bruno. Like I have a feeling that some voters will have that mentality, like, I'll just vote for this as my vote for We Don't Talk About Bruno. I think have some voter had it. So I think Dos Oruguitas one of them. The other I think is very likely to win is No Time to Die, because as I said, first it already has a Grammy. Even though, well, it doesn't matter since the Grammy voters, Oscar voters are different, but it already has a Grammy. It's already Grammy winning song. Second, it's Billie Eilish, and every we are currently and we are still in the phase where everyone loves Billie Eilish. Like they gave her like several Grammys at one night a few years ago. I can't imagine the Oscars giving her, the Academy giving her, an Oscar sweat. I mean, everyone loves Billie Eilish. They even had her perform the In Memoriam 2 years ago at the Oscars. So she already at least has a history with the Oscars, Billie Eilish. And as I said, James Bond theme song, the last two James Bond theme songs prior won Oscars as well. And No Time to Die, for me, at least for me, I don't know if the Academy will feel the same. I think No Time to Die is as great as Skyfall or Writings on the Wall, or even probably better than Writings on the Wall. So yeah, I think it will be between Dos Oruguitas and between No Time to Die. If I will vote, I'll vote for No Time to Die because it's really the song that really struck me. But right now, just for the sake of this, I'm going to say probably Dos Oruguitas will win, just because I think it will carry the popularity of the Encanto soundtrack right now. And we're recording this March 9. Voting doesn't start until March 17. If the Encanto soundtrack is still as popular as it is by that time, and I think it will, I think I can see it winning this. Even though it's not, we don't talk about Bruno just because of the popularity of the Encanto soundtrack alone.
Yeah, those are very good points, and it is going to be very exciting to see who does finally win in these categories. Guys, thank you for joining us today on PGS Reviews, and please check out all the PGS All Stars Reviews episodes to find out more about the creators in our community. The Cinemike, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at the Cinemike, and you can read my articles on epicstream.com.
Excellent. And of course, guys, you can find me on Monday nights streaming on Toxic Femininity with Lorraine Creole. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, sometimes you can find me on the 1/6 Scale Man Network, either on Say What or Uncivilized Scoundrels. You can also find me streaming with Lorraine Creole doing our Reacher review series. On Friday afternoons at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, you can find me on Midnight's Edge in the Morning with Tom, Andre, and Cameron Pasha. On Friday nights, you can find me on the Burnettwork streaming with Robert Meyer Burnett. And on Sundays during the morning, you can find me for my live morning show, Sunday Brunch, at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, where we do all the parlay and the fandom of what's going on in the live show. So please join me then. And also check out all my other videos on positive fandom, as well on the Burnettwork. Guys, also keep in mind that you can keep the conversation going by going to Facebook and Discord, and keep up with the show by checking out the webpage on the PGS website. But also please like and subscribe to the video and the channel, the Burnettwork and Positive Fandom, and set alerts so you'll be notified whenever there is a new show on either network. And as always, to everybody out there, as the show comes to a close, please remember to please be kind. Bye now.